Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're going to work on a reel that I hope my grandson will be fishing with. My grandson is a left-handed individual, and we have a left-handed bait casting reel that he would like to learn how to fish with. So I previewed this one on a garage sale or flea market finds a while ago. It's a beautiful little reel. It's the 13 Fishing Origin, and it is the LTE version. And it's also left-handed being the crank model. But we're going to take this apart because, well, when you buy a reel at a flea market, you're not quite sure what you're getting. You don't know the service history behind it. And, well, it's just something that is a good practice to do rather than just trusting that this reel is going to work fine and then get out and get disappointed that something is wrong with it when you take it on the water. We're going to show you how to take this reel apart completely, how to service it, and how to keep it running for a long time to come. It's a nice low-profile bait caster reel. It's perfect for fresh water. You could probably use it inshore ocean, although the capacity is probably going to get in the way there. But it's popular. A lot of folks are going with the braided line to an inshore ocean kind of a strategy, and I guess you can use that. Has the paddle handle, has a left-handed crank, has 9 ball bearings, has a 7 ball bearings, and an 8.1 to 1 retrieve, which is a high-speed retrieve, which is typical of fishing lures. All right, before I get started too much further, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. This channel shows all kinds of service and repair videos, saltwater, freshwater, low-profile bait caster, round bait caster, casting reels, trolling reels, spinning reels. If it's out there and made, I generally do the service on them, and I try to show you how to do that by looking over my shoulder in my shop as I service the reels. We're going to start by taking off the side plate here. There's a switch below. You're going to switch it, and then you should just be able to pull this out. Yep, pull it out. The only thing on this side is a bearing. How do I know that? Well, I just went to the internet and I pulled off the schematic for that. And one of the things that was reinforced when I went to the schematic is 13 Fishing is a division of Rapala. Rapala, of course, is the lure maker, and they acquired 13 Fishing somewhere along the way, and now they're a division of them. So I looked over here, and on that side all I see is a mag spool here, which you can adjust from the outside, no need to service, and a bearing. So the bearing is inside the cap here. I oil my bearings. I don't use grease on them, and well, that's your choice, but to me grease absorbs dirt and just gets in the way of performance. I'm going to remove this spool. That's got a bearing on it as well. Now, when I tested this reel is running fine, so I don't think I need to do anything with the bearings. I guess you could upgrade the bearings if you wanted to. And here's your mag adjuster. So what you want to do on this one, if you want more or less, you turn the adjuster for that. This one seems to be working fine just as it is, so we're going to kind of leave that. Just want to make sure I have all the braided line kind of wrapped there. And when I take off my pieces and parts, I put them into a parts tray. I use a fast food container for that. That helps me to keep track of those. I wanted to take that off because I thought, just like I see on a lot of these reels, that there might be a screw on the inside that's holding that side plate cover on. There is. So I'm going to start by removing that one. One of the things I don't like about this reel, and it's kind of interesting, it's the cosmetics. It's a white reel. White reels show off all the dirt and kind of hold stains and the like. But the color is what the color is, and the fish don't care. All right. When I take the screws out, even though I have the schematic, I often recommend that you take the time to compare the screws, make sure that they're all the same. If they're not the same, mark the locations for the ones that are different. For example, that one is a thicker screw than the side plate screw here. you're going to need a micro screwdriver for these. The standard screwdriver is going to be too thick. And then there's there's 2 more screws underneath in the back here, and they appear to be different as well. So I'm going to remove those 2, and I should be able to probably get the case off with that. Not sure, but before I take that last screw out, I'm going to do what I usually do with these, and that is to take the handle and the top side off, just in case. Take pictures along the way. That'll give you the orientation of the pieces and parts that you remove, so that if you get stuck later on, you'll be able to determine how it was situated, whether it was facing one way or another in orientation, and well, that's going to help you in the reinstall. The clamp and the nut cap came off. Next is the handle. Kind of get this wrong because it's a left-handed turn. There is a washer underneath the handle. Make sure to account for that. Put the handle back on because I think this is going to screw off this way in a clockwise manner. Kind of the reverse of the right-handed model. That's why I'm a bit confused there. Still can't do it. Using the handle as a wrench to hold the gear stem. There you go. When you take the handle off, make sure that you take a picture of what's underneath it. We have a noisemaker with a few washers under and under the cap here. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It looks like there's 3 washers in there. 2 washers, maybe 3. I'm just going to leave them that way so that when it's time to reinstall, I know exactly how they go. I'm going to take that and put that right into the star adjuster so that I don't lose it that way. Alright, I should be able to remove the cap now after removing this back screw. So we'll go ahead and do that next. I like these reels. I haven't personally purchased one, but I have several of them. I purchased one, purchased one new. I have had several that have come along on some rods and some flea market finds that I have, and they've held up well. That one goes with the other short one. So that's interesting. Every screw in that case pretty much different. This is a longer screw than this one is, duly noted. All right, let's pick up the outside. You can see that this is a quality piece of equipment. It's also very standardized in terms of how this reel comes together. Big gear, of course, that's what makes it the 8.1-to-1 against the small gear. First thing I want to do is take these 2 yoke springs off because I tend to lose those if I don't. And my biggest problem with yoke springs is remembering to put them back in when it's time to come back and reassemble the reel. Looks like we have a little bit of old grease and that on here. Let's see if we can just pull the stack up. Usually not. And when I take these pieces and parts off, I want to clean this reel. Especially this little piece. This piece should be dry. This is the inner sleeve for your anti-reverse. That should be dry. That's a friction device. We have a bearing on this case here. It sits on top of the anti-reverse clutch. You can oil that and set that aside and let that seep in. And from time to time these just become sort of stuck, so I'm going to use a utility knife here to help me out here. The reel looks pretty new inside. This one, just a note, is a keyed washer. It has the indentations for that cap, and it's also got a belly and a bulge. The bulge faces out. Alright, we've removed your main gear. There's a drag washer in there, looks brand new. A drag washer on the back, or a separator washer on the back. The click ratchet is going to intersect with this piece here, and when it's time to kick it back, that's what it's going to do. This whole mechanism, when you go to load, is going to push down like that. This click mechanism is going to push up to restore it. Well, this is very clean in here. You don't need to do any cleaning. I'm just going to use a little bit of penetrating oil. I don't use it as a lubricant, but I'm just going to let that soak in there while we just do a quick service on this. We're going to clean the yolk. Again, I'll use a series of paper towels. I'll use cotton swabs, kitchen scrubby if it gets a little more advanced in terms of a need to clean. We've got our pinion gear. You can see it's totally dry here, so we'll go reassemble and re-lube that. Before I close this up, I notice there's a lot of dirt in here. We also want to get to the pawl, so we're going to take another one of these micro drivers here, if I can find a small one. I'm going to move these parts into the parts tray before I knock them on the ground. There's 2 screws, one on each side here, that are holding this bezel on over the line guide drive. And those go into my parts tray as well, because while you lose these, you're going to have a very hard time finding the replacements. Alright, those 2 are out. They should just pull off now. That gives us access to the pawl and the worm gear. This is a plastic cover, so when you go to take that cover off, be careful. If you over tighten it, you could shatter it. What we're trying to do here is just get to the pawl. You can see I'm tapping to bring it out. First thing you'll notice is there's a small washer that goes in the base of this cap. Then the line guide pawl is here, and you want to make sure, see there's a lot of dirt on the shoulders of this pawl, and that's going to affect how it turns. All of that is dirt. If that gets trapped in the tracks of the worm gear, it's not going to turn very efficiently, and over time it can hang up on one side or the other, or it can lead to one of the prongs on that pawl breaking off. Okay, I'm going to leave that right there for a moment. This is what I wanted to get to. I saw there was a lot of dirt in there. And I'm just going to squirt it with some penetrating oil. I'm going to use that just to clean it up. And we'll, I think I have a kitchen scrub here. I'm going to put a little rod and reel cleaner on here. I'm going to use Penn's rod and reel cleaner. Not a cleaner and a polisher. And there's some evidence that there's old dirt and that from fishing on the face of the reel and all. So this is your one opportunity. When the spool is out, the side plates are off, it's your opportunity to clean it, so take advantage of that opportunity. One of the other things you can take advantage of is, well, if you have any questions on the reel that you're working on, maybe you're stuck along the way, maybe something isn't going according to plan, maybe you just want more information on the reel. If you leave those questions in the comment section, you can leave it in this one. It doesn't have to be about this reel. I do generally try to answer those questions in the morning before I start work in the shop, and if I can help you, I'll try to do that. All right, well, it's about as good a cleaning as I'm going to get with that. Dirt is the enemy of a fishing reel, so when you have the opportunity to clean it up, take advantage of that opportunity. Okay, we're going to put the pawl back in. We're going to put a little bit of oil onto the worm drive. This is a pretty substantial reel. I'm going to put the pawl back in. That pawl has to seat, so turn your drive on that worm gear till you see it, feel it pull in. You got that little washer I want to put on next. That goes in the cup like that. And again, it's a plastic cap. Thread this by hand so that you don't risk cross-stripping it. You can tighten down the last turn or two with the screwdriver. Don't over tighten it. That's a recipe for disaster. And then you can turn this to make sure that the line guide is turning. Once you do that, it's good to get the pieces and parts off the table. So this goes next. And we can go back to our tray, get those 2 small screws, and be careful here, they're easy to drop. They bounce a long way, and if you have shag carpet, you're in for a lot of fun. Alright, here's the second one. I personally have a plastic mat, and I guess they used to call them secretarial mats or whatever. Below me, that was for rolling chairs so that they didn't destroy the carpet. One of the things with the plastic mat is pieces fall on there, kind of stay there. Okay, that's that side. We can actually take our spool side now and put this back. Make sure that all of your braid is on the spool. One of the problems that you have when you reinstall these things is that that tag end of the braid tends to kind of jump out and trap between the case. So try to avoid that. We've oiled this case. We'll go ahead and put this back on now. Nice crisp snap. Make sure that it's all together. Close the lock. Didn't have an opportunity to clean that before. Do that now. Okay, we can come back and reinstall this side then. First thing you want to put in is your pinion gear. You're going to notice on your yoke that you have slanted sides. Those are going to face in. On the gear itself, you have a slotted side that will face in as well. Use fishing wheel grease to coat your gear. And when you put it on the shoulder, that'll help the worm gear. Again, find your sloped side. Then that's going to go in like this over your shaft of your spool and sit down just like that. Next up then, we'll put down the click ratchet. Make sure you have the orientation of the teeth in the right direction here. This is the right direction. This is going to come down and it's going to set itself on one of these prongs, and that's what will enable you to kick back. Next up is your main gear. So the washer from underneath goes on. This does not have a lot of max drag. It only has the one drag washer in it. This should just come out. Check to make sure that it is clean. And this is a hard washer, so you do not need to lubricate that. Check all the teeth in the main gear. If there's any dirt or debris in there, clean that out before you re-grease. You can use a wire brush or a hard bristle brush to do that. This one, I think if there's any issue with the reel, it's that all the grease is gone. And again, a good amount of grease. You don't have to put it in every tooth, but get a good amount of grease on there. And that seats over. Make sure you press it down all the way till you hear that click. We can bring our top washer on. That has the slots in the belly facing up. And we have a sleeve for your anti-reverse. And before I forget them, we have 2 yoke springs. They go on the posts. So this is the completed assembly. We used penetrating oil before. If you want to put a drop of oil or 2 into that one slide section there, go ahead and do that. And we want to take our side plate and reinstall that. Make sure that it goes all the way in nice and easy. There's a little washer that goes on top of that bearing there. Make sure you have a nice tight seam. One of the problems with wearing gloves is it transfers all the grease that you got on your glove to the case again. So we cleaned that case. And well, kind of how life goes, right? All right. There's a small screw that goes back here. It's the smallest of the 4 screws that you took out. Those of you that know me and those small screws know that it's time to go get the favorite beverage of your choice. I'll go to put these back in. Some folks have asked, why don't I fast forward on these? Why don't we just skip over to where they're all installed? Well, you never know what's going to happen. At least I don't. Sometimes it just leads to a different problem or something, and I don't want to miss telling you about that if that occurs. Okay, should be able to get that one done. Again, that's the shortest of the side plate screws in that location. We have a longer version. Goes on the other side here. Oh, see, I already made a mistake. There you go. I reinstalled the spool, and I didn't put the screw that holds that case on in the back there. So we have our oops moment. This is the other one from the outside here. And we'll have to remove that spool and put the other one in. So overall, these are nice reels. They're high-speed reels. We saw that from the size of the main gear. And I think this one should last my grandson some time. All right. Onward with the last screw. Half of the fun is getting there, right? So if you're working on any of these baitcaster reels, this is a lesson learned. If you've removed your side plate screws and you can't find why that side plate is not coming off, give yourself a moment and take a look. See if there happens to be a screw buried on the back side. In this case, we've had 3 screws on the back side. I gotta get that out of there, okay. Back with the side plate, close that up. All right. Next up then, we're going to put the assembly back on for your star adjuster. We noted that all of the washers are inside this little noisemaker. There's a flat washer, and there is a beveled washer, and there's a flat washer. Then we have our star adjuster. Put these on by hand. Hold your gear stem while you're putting this on. Make sure that it threads nice and easy. Underneath that, we have our washer that separates the handle from the drag. We have the handle. Nut cap is next. Again, thread this one by hand. Avoid cross stripping this one. This one goes on in a traditional clockwise manner. Tighten your star adjuster all the way down before you tighten that cap nut. Get your retention plate. I got lucky, I lined it up. And one more screw, and then we can take this glove off, wipe down the reel, and we'll give it a final test. I didn't do the research to see the pricing on this reel. The materials seem nice, and well, it seems well made. There's nothing funky about it, if you will. It's a basic design of a bait casting reel, and if you can service this reel, you can pretty much service any bait casting reel. Just note the positions and the like. And this one, of course, is a left-handed reel, so there might be some minor differences between the left-handed version and the right-handed version, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. All right, we've wiped it down, cleaned it up. Let's give it a test. First thing we want to do is test the free spool. Oh, look at that. That spins nice and easy with those two bearings sitting in the spool there. Newly oiled. That's a nice casting reel. Make sure you trip back when you hit this. You do. Nice turn, free and easy. Tighten down your star adjuster. Make sure the drags work. Drag. It's a singular drag. It does. And then back it off. Give that a turn. Replicate a cast. Click. This is it. Okay. That's how to service the 13 Origin reel, model LTE, the left-handed version of it. And again, what did we do? We went out to the internet. We've got the schematic for the reel. We showed you how to take it apart, how to service it, how to put it back together again, how to cover your mistakes when you have an oops, and forget to put that screw in on the reattachment of your side plate there. Make sure you put that screw in behind the spool. And, well, how to keep this one running for a long time to come. I hope you've enjoyed it. I want to take a moment to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, and everybody involved in well, public safety. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank all of our subscribers and remind you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And, well, I want to wish everybody a great day on the water and treasuring the moments that you create while you're fishing. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.